We don't have Nick here this week to give us our little intro tune, but welcome to episode 5 of I Suck at Fantasy podcast. My beautiful co-host did. We do have a new look here. Sirianni is joining us. But can I get a confirmation? Can you guys see my screen here?
Yeah, you're good.
We good? All right. Well, welcome to episode 5. As we just wrapped up week 7. Dan, can you say hi to our viewers, and then we'll have our new host and our new guest introduce himself.
Hey, friends and enemies. I'll segue into introducing our interim guest while Nick wallows in his sadness. So pathetic to absolutely get dog walked by who'd Nick lose to? Was it Shaw?
That would be me.
Absolute. That would be you. Gotcha.
I wouldn't even
absolutely dog walked by Shaw. Yeah, it was disgusting. It was hard to watch. Absolute train wreck. But don't worry, everyone. Nick, self-proclaimed Stephen Hawking, he'll bounce right back. I believe in him. He's so in favor of a last place punishment. I love that out of him. So going over to our interim host, he took the Halloween week seriously, decided to dress up like a clown, Alex Shaw.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm just here to keep the integrity of the podcast going. I heard there were complaints, Nick's kind of a clown. He was saying some outrageous stuff, and, the people wanted someone honest. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to keep the integrity.
You sound a lot like both in your voice and in what you're saying, like a former caller we actually had on our show, Ryan from New Jersey. Have you met that gentleman before? I know you were an avid watcher. Were you hanging out in the Discord doing some watch-alongs, or how have you guys met? Is there any overlap there?
No, never met him. Obviously, as he said, he's a fan, so I respect all my fans. But haven't met him. Seems like a nice guy, though. He's, honest, has a lot of integrity like myself, and seemed pretty intelligent. So I would like to meet him.
Hey, well, maybe he'll call back in tonight. Maybe not. The phone lines are open, 1-800-FANTASY. Bird, please do not call after hours. Dan, I think I cut you off. Anything else you'd like to share as we jump into the last week's recap?
Took the words right out of my mouth, Peter.
All right. So we've got some juicy results, which I actually realized I just went into this week's and I did the weekly recap and I took a picture of week 8. So let me open up the browser here and we will go to League Scoreboard.
What is this, amateur hour?
Hey, no, because look at how good I am at just realizing, hey, made a mistake, hand up guilty. But Dan, anything that jumps out to you?
One thing, can you scroll down just a little bit? Perfect. There's one thing that really jumped out at me this week, and it's Ben's team. It is in shambles. The team itself, I still think has some pieces, but they are just not showing up for Ben. And I think it's a testament to how he manages his team.
Yeah, not a good look. Obviously, Darren Waller going down. Obviously, looking forward, Devontae Adams out, Antonio Brown out. He had a couple guys on.
Sterling Shepard
going down.
Lamar Jackson.
Not pretty. But Shaw, any thoughts on that matchup or any videos that came out as a result of that matchup?
Yeah, there was a video out in the group chat today. Peter, I actually wanted to bring this up. I have a little note here. I have a general rule I live by in my life. I generally don't talk shit to people that post a lot of pictures of them killing things. Kind of a rule of mine, but I don't, maybe you don't believe that. I don't know.
I don't, because I've been out with Ben. I know Ben is soft on the inside. He can joke around, have a good time. In fact, I'd be more scared of Ben if he voted against a league punishment. So the people I'm really scared of is how bad it might hurt when they lose. So Nick might be, there's a reason Nick isn't showing his face this week. I don't know. There's a few other people who, gave that thumbs down a like. So maybe Milk is wallowing in a win. I don't know. He continues to win, has a fantastic receiving core, but Ben could handle it. And I didn't talk any shit. I just posted some. That's it. I didn't open my mouth at all. Just let the do the talking.
I would say if he invites you out on one of those bow fishing trips at 2:00 in the morning, I'd probably skip the next couple.
Hey, I'm pretty good at dodging things. So Ben doesn't have as good of a shot as Nick and I when it comes to a bow and arrow, but we'll see next time. Ben, we still love you. Had to have some fun. I did get some chance for meme of the year, so I'm pretty proud of it. But anywho, let's move on from my matchup, even though it was an absolute great dub to get through by Mageddon. Obviously, Dan going down this week, I thought he might be able to escape with by Mageddon. Interesting, Dan starting a D, going -6. So if Dan starts a D that does something, there's a chance that he pulls that off. If they put up 11 points, that's a 17-point swing, and Dan takes the dub. So, Dan, any thoughts on maybe how you're going to evaluate defenses moving forward?
Yeah, I've always been in the camp of don't pay for a defense or pay very little. I really had some deep thoughts about the defense situation as I was tossing and turning last night. And I think going forward, my lesson learned is maybe pay a little for a defense, go out, get the best one. Had I got Arizona's defense, which I put in a waiver 0 for, I would have won. So maybe I'd pay a little more, win the matchup.
Yeah, Arizona did put up 11. That's the defense I had in mind. Ben decided to start a defense over a tight end, which paid off in that result. However, not for you. Shaw, any other thoughts as you look at these matchups? Obviously, a big win for Team Hungry Dogs. Jamar Chase is looking like the second coming of Alex Shaw. Really, is the only person I can compare him to. But any thoughts on your matchup?
Well, I got a couple comments on a couple of the matchups. To go back to Dan's, I really he would start scoring more points, as we'll get into this later when we go into power rankings. But for some reason, his team is just not putting up the points that I would expect.
I had so many guys by with.
And then as well for myself, I'm a little disappointed. I would like more than 138. I'm scoring a little low.
Hey, 4.5 points away from high scorer. So actually,
yeah, well, I expect big things out of my team, and I would, wasn't happy with the 30-point margin, so I would like more points out of my team.
True. So while we're on that topic, Berg, make sure to Venmo Toy your $5. And Ben, I'm still waiting on that $10. So when you get the chance, just go on and send it over. But anywho, keep going, Sean.
Oh, and then there was one more team. It's Cole's team. Surprisingly enough, he just continues to score like not great, but also not bad. Like 117 points this week. It's just kind of surprising to me. I look at his team and I think it's not very good, but they put up points. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
I mean, look at his top scorers. Burrow, let's throw that one out. A tight end that he picked up off waivers going for 18, and Graham Gano, his kicker, going for 15. I think that's a very good metaphor for Cole's season, is that he continues to find a way. Jasicki turning into the truth. Graham Gano, 15 points. I mean, Cole, keep doing what you're doing. Apparently it's working. So 4-3 and in 5th place. But any other thoughts?
Yeah, Cole continues to get plagued by the injury bug. I guess that happens when you have half of a team of running backs, but it is getting down to the wire. And he was preaching to me about how great Jets running back Michael Carter is going to be from here on out. Cole, I wish you the best on that venture, because I disagree.
Yeah, this show doesn't do any talking about the Jets. Could be the first roster Jets player to see some actual time. Almost thought about Corey Davis starting in my lineup this week, but dropped him at the 11th hour, picked up Hunter Renfrow. Had I started Corey Davis, I would have had 3 extra points. Big tutty.
Hey, keep an eye out on Joe Flacco on the waiver wire.
Hey, the Flack is back.
A big pickup this week.
Joe Flacco is not starting for the Jets. He is the backup quarterback. Keep an eye on Mike White on the waiver wire, folks.
Hey, Mike White or Jack Black, one of the two we'll be able to get. So that brings us to our next slide here, which, hey, we're at the time in the league where we don't know. Go ahead.
Can we go back to the last matchup?
We can.
I want to let it be known that if Ben had started Berg instead of A.J. Dillon, let me just make sure I got the right person. Yes, if Ben had started Berg instead of A.J. Dillon at running back, he would have more points. Berg outscored A.J. Dillon this past week in fantasy.
Look for Berg to go for at least, well, if Cole is Berg a running back? Is Berg a running back in our league?
And Andy Berg?
Yeah. Is he classified under RB?
Yeah, I think it could be RB. I think he's one of those
watch for Ben,
gadget guys.
Watch for Ben to make a play for him, but also watch for Cole to pay like $50 for a player like that. Good to see Kadarius Toney performing for him. So we're at that point in the season where we had some brilliant ass man rankings last time around. We don't know what's happening in the league right now, but here's our circle of wins. So if we go around the horn, kind of a fun thing to look at who's beaten who, and hey, no clear number one. So Toy has beaten Nick, who's beaten Dan, who's beaten Peter, who's beaten Bird, who's beaten Chris, who's beaten Shaw, who's beaten the Milkman, who's beaten Ben, who's beaten Cole, who's beaten Toy. So I think the one that stands out to me the most as I go around this is Cole beating Toy. Actually, if I would have had that a little bit more factored into my power rankings, I think he caught Toy on a pretty off week. But that's a pretty big win that Cole continues to beat some good teams. So Cole, I'm higher on your team on who you're doing, but I don't think I have you very high in my power rankings. Obviously, not a lot to talk about here. Any thoughts on this slide?
I've got nothing.
All right, sweet. Let's move on to power rankings. So Dan, resident chief editor, let's have you walk us through your power rankings first.
Yeah, so pretty unanimous. Toy up at the top. Continues to say nothing in the group me. I think he actually threw out a meme against me, Shaw, and Berg recently.
He's also very pro loser bracket.
Which makes a lot of sense from the guy at the top.
Love it.
So he's at the top. I think that's pretty unanimous. Chris, number 2. Once again, I think the truth of Chris came out this past week when Derrick Henry doesn't even have, he still had a touchdown passing, but when he doesn't go up for 30, Chris doesn't win. Just a simple fact. Milk, you beat me, or no, who do I have as 3? Ben is 3. I think while Ben's team right now is in the absolute shitter, I think he has the players to win. His running back 2 position is pretty not good. But I think him and I, after we play this week, might be able to get a deal done to work that running back 2 position out. So I have him pretty high. I see him losing this. We'll see what happens this week. But I'm keeping him high. Milk 4, you beat me. Your team is okay. It puts up some numbers. You have Booper Bup. If CMC comes back, you're going to be killing it, but we'll see. Then I have myself. I think my team on paper is very good. It is underperformed. This is going to be the first week that it's back at full form since getting Zeke. So this week is going to be telling.
So we're talking the difference of 1 week. I thought it kind of sounded like you were talking about a full season there. Now that it's back at full form after this past week, I'm happy you have Zeke this week.
Yeah, well, this past week, no Zeke. I had no Juicy Jeff, or Juicy Justin Jeff. So no tight end. I had to start Higbee. He's a bum. So we'll see how the team fares. Berg, 6. I think he has the pieces. His team underperformed. He had some bye week issues. Cole, like Charles said, I don't understand how he puts up points. I don't understand how he continues to win. It's an absolute enigma. I don't even know if waiver wire. He told me on the phone the other day he does not understand Fab. It is week 7 going into week 8. Get it together, buddy. But you keep winning, so good on you. 8, Shaw. Jamar Chase, coming on. That's really the only notable person on your team, but you got Jamar Chase. So you're moving up and Mike Evans, who you tried to sell for literally Joey Mix.
Henderson.
Kyle
Pitts.
Who's now consecutively put up 20-point games back to back.
Jalen Hurts.
Averages 5 points a game.
All on the come up. 8.
I like it.
9, Peter. I still don't believe in your team. I think you're making good acquisitions. We'll see if it continues to pay off, but I have you at 9. And then Nick, I used to respect what you had to say about fantasy. I just don't even know what to say anymore. I feel like last year was a total fluke. All the fantasy advice you gave me, I don't even know if you're paying attention anymore. Maybe if you'll get a girlfriend, don't care about fantasy. I don't know what it is, but it's hard to watch.
Agreed.
That's my rankings.
And there was our moment of silence for Nick there. Sean, walk us through.
All right, so at the top, I have Toy. He scored the most points in the league, and he's also tied for the most wins. I think you'll see in my list, I respect people that have 2 good running backs on their team. I think that's big in this league. Toy has 2 good Toy has decent running backs, but you can't when he scored the most points and has the most wins, it's hard to not put him at number 1. To my comment about wide receiver and running back combo, Dan Miller. I don't like Dan as a person, but I do like his team. And while they have underperformed, I think most of the weeks, he's got probably the best running back combo and the best wide receiver combo. So I don't like him, but I would trade teams with mine for his. So I'm putting him at number 2. Milkman. He's got the 2nd most points in the league, and his running backs probably aren't the best, but he's got Cooper Kupp and Metcalf, and that combo is, that's worth 50 points a game at least. So I think that's probably why he's 2nd most in points. Then I have Chris. Chris's team I don't really think is good, but he puts up points. Derrick Henry just continues to steamroll people besides last week. I guess that's probably why, as Dan said earlier, he lost last week. But I don't know. On Chris's team, I don't really understand. Then we get Berg. Berg has had the most points scored against him, but he's also tied in the league, or he's at 3rd of most points scored. So I actually do think Berg's team is decent. I think he would be ranked higher in the ESPN rankings if he wasn't getting slaughtered by every other team every week. But I think that's going to run out. I don't think it can continue, but it might. So that's why I got Berg at 5. 6, I had Peter, which people might, Peter number 6. That's a little high. Although, you look at Peter's team, and it's really not that bad. He's got Cook and Taylor, which I said before, I like good running back combos. I think that's important for getting consistent points. And then he got Diggs, which I rank Diggs in top 3 wide receivers probably in points in the rest of the season. So I think Peter's going to start putting up more points than he has. Then I have Ben. I had Ben earlier in my ranking a lot higher, like a number 3-4 spot, but his running back 2 situation is in shambles. I'm not sure how much longer hunting season is, and you're not playing all the players that you can. It's hard to win games. I think hunting season were to end soon, he probably would jump up a few rankings. Cole. Cole's team is bad. It's really bad. Swimmer, he's not good at fantasy football. I think he's getting lucky, but I also don't know. Maybe he's making good waiver wire moves, but Dan also just said he doesn't understand waiver wires, so I'm not sure what he's doing, to be honest. It's kind of amazing. Then we have Nick. Nick's team is also very bad. Nick also keeps trying to trade me Gibson. I don't want him at all. I think that Nick will be last place at the end of the league. I think Cole's team is worse, but something tells me Nick might pull out number 10 spot. And I think with his, reason for not wanting to do the last place, I think he knows it as well. Then Team Shaw. Like I said, I'm not happy. My team only scored like 140 points last week. I want more points out of them. I think they can do better, and I'm going to show them a little tough love. Peter, there was a 2017 in the NFL, and there was a saying going around. It said, "Hungry dogs run faster," and I believe in that. So I want my team hungry, and that's why I'm putting them at number 10.
Respectable rankings. Hey, you fired that off like an absolute veteran. I'm impressed. So show a round of applause on that. I respect your rankings. I think they're pretty solid. You and I had very similar rankings as we move into mine. I obviously had you higher, so I think if you had that, we almost had identical rankings with the exception of Ben. But number 1, I got Toy. Once again, it'll be interesting preview of his matchup this week. But he's obviously got a strong team. He was able to bounce off of Russell Wilson very fast and replace him with a better scoring Matthew Stafford, which has actually helped his team in points, which has been pretty crazy to see. But once again, he's at the top. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got Mike Williams. We saw what could happen, in a team where, if the Chargers don't go, his team doesn't go. So we've seen his floor as well. But still number 1. Chris, number 2. Obviously, we've talked about Henry a lot, but the 2 people that I'll bring up that have continued to impress me, number 1, Leonard Fournette. We talked about him in the past, but the other one who's really coming on, Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is turning into a bona fide wide receiver. I don't know if I can call him a wide receiver 1, but he is turning into the primary option in that offense, in a Russian roulette offense where you don't know which running back is going to start on any given week. So to watch somebody potentially have somebody who actually gets the ball in that offense is fascinating. So Chris, well done. Number 3, Milk. I know Dan touched on this. I absolutely are about Christian McCaffrey coming back. So once that happens, it could even catapult him higher. I love Milk's wide receivers. I think they're fantastic, especially when Russell Wilson comes back. You got DK and you got Booper Bup. So he seems to be a cheat code this year. Number 4, I got Ben. Ben's a tough one to rank right now. A lot of issues going on, a lot of internal battles, like Shaw said, also limited cell service out in hunting season. So making those maneuvers last minute is a little bit tricky. But Antonio Brown out, Darren Waller out, Devontae Adams out. We'll see how that happens. Obviously, his team really runs through Najee Harris. We saw that last week. So getting through the Najee Harris bye, I think we'll have a good view as to how his team does this week, minus Devontae Adams. But once again, if the Pittsburgh offense doesn't go, nor does Ben's team. We haven't seen that yet. Number 6, I have myself. I actually like Shaw's for a lot of Shaw's reasonings. I'm going to go ahead and say I think I have the best running back tandem in the league. They put up a stat on Sunday Night Football, and they said since week 6, the top 3 in yards since last year, week 6, were number 1, Derrick Henry, number 2, Dalvin Cook, and number 3, Jonathan Taylor. So Jonathan Taylor is just getting started. He had a fumble early in a game that was being played in a monsoon, but he plays in a division that he should be able to eat the rest of the season. Number 7, I have Shaw. Oh, I skipped right over Dan. It's like I forgot about him. Looking right at him, I forgot about him. Let's jump back to number 5. So excited to talk about myself. Looks like I've been hanging out with Dan a lot. I got Dan at number 5. He has got, like we have all talked about, he's got the most solid team. A lot of issues in depth. However, Damian Harris is coming onto the scene. Wide receiver depth, not great. No, Dan loves T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
What?
I just said T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins. I know Dan loves T. Higgins more than his firstborn and mother combined, but we'll see if that move pays dividends moving forward. But I think it should be called out that Justin Jefferson is who I am most confident at Dan's wide receiver. Carolina's offense looks to be in shambles, and who knows what the heck is going on in Kansas City right now. So if those two don't go, what happens to Dan's team? It could change. But once again, they are such good football players that I don't expect that, but it should be a little bit of cause for concern. Dan, you look like you're just ready to get something out. So what is it?
Yeah, I think we need to keep an eye on the NFL trade deadline ending Tuesday. There's been some murmurs around the league that Deshaun Watson may be going to Carolina. And I couldn't even imagine my team when DJ Moore gets Deshaun Watson slinging him the rock. And for all the people that think Tyreek is dead or whatever that team, Kansas City Chiefs are dead, come on, man. You really think the Kansas City Chiefs aren't going to continue to put up points? We saw Tyreek with whoever the backup quarterback is, and he still put up 10 fantasy points. That's my team's floor.
Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs are good.
Are good?
No, I don't think they're good. I think they're in shambles. I think Hill's stock has gone down.
Do you think the Eagles are good? Do you think the Eagles are good?
No. The Eagles are
perfect because the Kansas City Chiefs beat the doors off the Eagles. So just wanted to
they almost lost to the Chiefs.
Oh, this is fascinating. We're now seeing personal shots getting taken at each other.
Yeah.
One doesn't like their fantasy team and one doesn't like their actual team. This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
One little comment as well. Today, Dan tried to trade me DJ Moore.
Did not try and trade. Did not.
He called me. Called me this morning.
That is not even true.
And he wanted me to trade him.
Said, hey, let's just
DJ Moore straight up for Jamar Chase. I basically laughed in his face, and he was confused. Thought it was.
He offered me Stephon Diggs for Tyreek Hill straight up. So I also declined that to reverse the trade. So then we have Shaw at 7. Really like Shaw's team. Jamar Chase to me is a fascinating fantasy player right now. He is I think he's the most untradeable guy in the league right now because he is so good. But you also, as somebody who wants to go get him, you'd have to give up too much, and you'd be nervous to do that with a rookie receiver. But is turning out to be the pick of the draft. So Shaw, I'm impressed. Obviously, Mike Evans showed out this week, and your team continues to roll. Who's your RB2? Henderson, yeah, and you got Elaire coming off. So hey, I like where your team's headed. Didn't look promising, looked very bleak early, but things have turned around for Team Hungry Dogs.
We're hungry.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe eat something. We got Cole at number 8 once again. A lot of guys have touched on this. Won't belabor the point. Figures out a way, continues to do it. Berg, I have at number 9, and this is a little bit more as a subject of his record plus his recency bias. Putting up 82 points is not a great look, and I am very nervous for what's going to happen to Chubb in an offense where they just got Dearness Johnson to look like a stud. Kareem Hunt is on IR, but will be back at some point. So how do they manage that backfield? Plus the other question of that I have, Is Aaron Jones dead? Aaron Jones just can't seem to put up fantasy points. There's a lot of weapons in that offense. They spread the ball around. I think Aaron Jones put up less than 7 points this week. Well, I can confirm that. But that means if he put up less than 7 and A.J. Dillon put up negative 0.7, Packers running backs went for less than 6 about. So pretty fascinating stat there. And then the last one I have is Nick. Finally got some production out of AJ Brown, but yeah, Gibson is not looking like the man that he drafted him to be. DeAndre Swift is looking like a stud. He gets Josh Allen back off of bye, so Nick's team can go off, and we saw what CeeDee Lamb could do. But recency bias, Nick, you are bottom of the barrel. Let's hope Dawson Knox can play for you at some point, but think it's not looking good. Those are our power rankings. Here's what the trend line is. Ben has finally broken out of that 3 spot and moved down to 5. So congratulations on the fall, Ben. We've got Toy obviously at consensus number 1 here. Milk is trending way up. Ben is trending down. Berg has held steady. Nick trending down. Dan trending up slightly. And everything else holding about steady. Yes, Dan, over to you.
Why do you have the best players on the bottom?
Because it's 1 through 10. 1. This is 1.
All right, just curious.
Yeah, that was.
Because you said I was trending up, but it looks like down. I got confused.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm glad you could interpret that. The real question is, will Toy flop back to number 2? Interesting trend here. Second, first, second, first, second. So if we play out the season, when week 17 hits, is he at second or first? Basically, we'll find out if Toy can win the championship today. Depends on what happens, flip flop. All right, that's what we got. Any comments on power rankings? Otherwise, we can move along. All right, matchup previews. Let's do it. All right. NFL Week 8. Let's start. We're not involved. So we've got Milkman and the Brady Bunch. Never really thought about this, but Chris, you a big Brady Bunch fan? Kind of fascinating team name. But who would like to talk through this matchup to start?
Dan, I'll let you start off first.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I think there's some interesting matchups here. I think that let's start looking at the Milk side of the ball. We have Aaron Jones, who in his entire receiving core has COVID. So I think it's
Aaron Jones really or Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. Did I say Jones?
You did. Just want to make sure our viewership that's listening on Sirius knows.
Yes.
Yeah, the Aaron Jones is the running back, I believe.
That is correct.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a hard time putting up points with absolutely no one to throw to. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Chuba, tough matchup there because Carolina has been stinking. Williams put up no numbers. DK's on a Russell Wilson-less offense. Got, I think, 3 catches. Cooper Kupp remains consistent. Mark Andrews by Amari Cooper, proven to suck. I think Milk has some bad matchups and has some bad beats. And I think as long as Derrick Henry and Tampa Bay can show out, and Tampa Bay plays New Orleans, he's got a pretty decent defense. But I do like Chris in this matchup, and I think Chris is going to win pretty handily here.
Yeah, I do like Chris here as well. However, it's a really fascinating matchup because their strengths are at totally different positions. So Chris dominates quarterback to running back, and then Milk dominates on the wide receiver front. Mark Andrews being out is a big loss, so we'll see what he does streaming there. But I think this is going to be decided by which team can have 2 people pop off. I think that this matchup Like if Cooper goes, watch for Milk to win this. I'm more expecting Derrick Henry to go, obviously. So I'm going to go with Chris here. But I think this will actually be a pretty fascinating matchup as it's the clash of two people who have very different types of teams.
So when I first look at this, I'm thinking Chris is going to win this game, but I go back to my power rankings and Milkman, second most points in the league. He's got Cooper Kupp, he's got Metcalf. Cooper Kupp and Metcalf are playing this week. He's somehow put up those points this year. He's not really missing anyone. Mark Andrews, I guess, he can find a tight end that to put up similar numbers. Justin Tucker, kicker, doesn't really matter. So there's a reason Milkman's been putting up points. Give me the Milkman.
All right, we got 2 for Chris, 1 for the Milk. And who did Nick have?
Let me check. Might take me a minute to check. We can go to the next matchup and I could fill you in.
All right. The other one where we don't have a dog in the fight. Let's go to CD Nuts versus Sam Darnold's Ghosts. Take it away.
Go ahead, Joel.
Okay, so this is gonna be like watching a monkey try to fuck a football. Both suck. When you first look at it, you're like, you would think Nick would win this game, but for some reason Cole continues to put up points. But I'm gonna actually have to go Nick on this one. DeAndre Swift has been good. I think Nick's gonna have to do something with Gibson. If not, I would suspect he probably puts in Edmonds. I think Swift's gonna have a good game. I think Cooks will have a bounce back game. And I think Calvin Ridley is gonna start having better games coming up. So give me Nick.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'm going to go Nick here as well. Watch for Joey Burrow to potentially go for 40 against the Jets, and watch for Jamar Chase to go for 80. It could be over early there. But outside of that, at most positions, Nick just has him beat. DeAndre Swift greater than James Robinson. I don't know. Obviously, this new guy, Michael Carter, is apparently the third coming of Alex Shaw, so watch out for him. One intriguing part of this matchup that I have is this Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley matchup, to which they made this big switcheroo. Nick was very excited to get off a bye week, but now these two face off in the as they exchanged bye weeks, and didn't help Nick last week. And Cole got the dub. So will Calvin Ridley outperform Keenan Allen? That is my follow-up question as we move forward here. But I do have Nick in this one. But for some reason, hey, once again, Cole continues to find a way. Watch for Graham Gano to potentially go for 30 as well. Dan, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I think this matchup is one of the most interesting. I don't know if Cole starts Burrow or Herbert. I mean, I guess playing the Jets, you start Burrow. But also, is he going to start Jarvis Landry again? That seems like a mistake. Darius Toney might play. This seems
Landry had a good game last week, didn't he?
He had like 5
points
on the first try.
He had to pay me $10 because of that.
Oh, okay.
So this it feels not good taking. I feel like I'm wrong either way. I'm taking Cole. I think that his luck is just going to continue. Nick distracted in San Diego, goofing around. I think Cole's going to put some effort in.
All right.
Wait. Go back.
Oh, I did the wrong one. I gave Cole. There we go.
And I still can't find Nick's projections. So give me some time. I don't know how I can't find it, but
can you start counting like to 15? Tell me when to start. Have you started counting?
I'm counting in my head.
Where are we at?
15.
Okay, keep going.
Listeners are going to love this.
Yeah, this is really good for the crowd, Peter.
Yeah, we're just keeping them waiting. Yeah, I can't find it either.
Oh,
they're really fast.
Yeah, I told you.
Maybe Nick sent it to me direct.
Well, Ethan, I remember seeing it too.
All right, let's. Oh, here it is. He had Chris. All right, let's move along. First dog in the fight. Let's go over to Mr. Dan Miller, weekly host of I Suck at Fantasy. Very high on the power rankings. You and Oida are tied. That might get changed to me and Oida are tied. Very fascinating, juicy matchup. Dan, walk us through it.
Yeah, so I think that my team is back at full throttle. No one injured, no one on bye. If I can't put up points, if I can't get a win, I never can. Ben's team is down. He's missing his quarterback. He's missing his tight end. He's missing his number one wide receiver. The players he is planning on start are also questionable, also coming off injury. He's going to have to drop probably one of his valued players if he wants to have a full lineup. If I can't win this week, I am destined for the loser's bracket. I got to take myself here.
Shaw, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, Dan pretty much said it. His team's healthy this week. If you look at a lot of Dan's players like Tyreek Hill, the Kansas City Chiefs, they need a win. They're going against the Giants. They should win that game. He should have big numbers. Carolina's down spiral. They also need a win. They're against Atlanta, which they can also win. DJ Moore should have a good game. Zeke's gonna probably ball out. So is Alvin Kamara. I would suspect Dan's team has a big week. I'm thinking probably 130, 140 this week. And if he doesn't score, then I'm completely wrong and his team sucks. So
yeah, I'm going with Dan here as well. One thing that'll really this week's actually big for me in the power rankings for Dan. If Alvin Kamara performs against the Tampa Bay defense, he's balled out against Seattle. Seattle stinks on defense. But he returned to his old Alvin Kamara self. If he doesn't, and Dan wins, I'll have a tough time moving him up just because, that offense is in a play, that offense doesn't look great, but he was able to put up numbers against a bad team. Love all of his other matchups. I'm going Dan here. All right, I think we got across the board, Dan.
Hot take here. You could clip me on this, but I like myself for most points this week. I think my guys have some good matchups.
Yeah, we will clip that.
Nick, if you want to just Venmo me if you Venmo me right now, Nick, it's only $4.50. So think about it.
All right. We got the Birdman versus Team Hungry Dog. Shaw, walk us through it.
Yeah. So, Peter, I actually have a note written down here. You said something earlier in the podcast. You said, Shaw, you're hungry. Maybe eat something. I'm going to fucking eat Berg this week. It's going to I know that right now you look at it, it says like it's going to be close. It's not going to be close. Jamar Chase is up against the Jets. The Jets are basically a AA school college team. Jamar Chase might have 40 points. Tampa Bay, Mike Evans, I suspect he has a decent week. There's not much else to say. I'm going to fucking eat Bird. So put me down.
All right. I got you in this matchup as well because I think between Mixon and Chase, you're going to get 50 out of those two combined against the Jets. One of them's going to go for 30. Now, I also my only concern in this matchup for you is a revenge tour game for Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Jones being number one running back and number one wide receiver in Green Bay on Thursday night. So if Aaron Jones pops off, we saw him go for 40 early in the season, put up 4 tutties. That could happen, and we expect it to be a shootout with these two offenses. I am going Shaw, but those are two very, very big key points for me. I don't trust Nick Chubb off an injury. They'll limit him, I imagine, with Dearness Johnson looking like a stud.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Thursday night is definitely going to be a big point in this matchup. I think they're going to feed Aaron Jones until he throws up. But they're feeding him against the Arizona Cardinals. Awesome D. Pat Mahomes is going to put up a lot of points. I agree with that. Chubb is going to be limited. Sutton's going to be limited with Jerry Jeudy coming back. D-Hop's good. The Hawk's good. Godwin's good. But I just like Shaw's matchups. I think Shaw's team's coming on. I got to take Shaw as well here.
All right. And I got to go make dinner soon. So we're almost done. All right. We got Shaw across the board. All right. Our final matchup, save the best for last year. Looks like I might have to start a D this week. Got away with winning one without it. This is a interesting matchup to me, obviously, because I'm a part of it. But if we go position by position, I think it's interesting to play this out. Quarterback, maybe slight edge to Toy, but I'd say pretty even. I have the edge at running back. Wide receiver and flex is interesting to me. Either one could pop off. Terry McLaurin could pop off. Terry McLaurin could not pop off against the Denver Broncos. We'll see. If he gets a tutty, watch out. Obviously, he has the clear edge in tight end. I don't have a D starting right now, and I have a 50. He's up 53%. I'm going to roll with myself here in terms of confidence. I like where my team's at. I like my matchups. I like Dalvin Cook to eat a ton of points Sunday night against Dallas. Boys, what do you think? How off base am I?
You said this is a interesting matchup. It's really not. Toy is number one in the league. He scored the most points. He's going to do it again. Give me Toy.
Yeah, I think you're a little off base in your projections. I think that you have the slight edge at running back and maybe even a decent edge. I think wide receiver, he has a huge advantage, tight end advantage. And he's already got Bills D against Miami. I've got Toy here.
And I believe Nick also has Toy. Hey.
I'm rooting for you, Pete. I'd love to see you win, but I think Toy's got it.
Hey, that's fine. I picked myself. I'm 5-15 all time. Pick myself every time, and I think 2 of those wins have come from myself. So hey, that's big. Here's our updated on the pick'em. Nick 11-9. I'm 5-15. Kind of stink at this. Dan 8-12. So boys, we have made it to the end of I Suck at Fantasy. Dan, I got to give you and Shaw Toy here. Any closing thoughts to leave our viewership with?
I got nothing.
Shaw?
Nope. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, good to have you. And I hope you're a regular guest and hope to hear from Ryan soon.
Sounds good. We'll see you.
Take care.
Good friends.